Hello and welcome to CBJ News. I'm Ben Malla.
And I'm Jennifer Okolo. Here are your headlines for Friday the 17th of May. Hospital staff in Nottinghamshire have walked out because they claim they're being treated like second-class workers. Angus Pickering is on the scene.
I'm out here in Mansfield, where staff at the Kingsmill Hospital are out on the picket line.
The notorious murderer Colin Pitchfork will be having a parole hearing in public. He raped and strangled 2 schoolgirls in Leicestershire in the 1980s.
And why these people in Mansfield are foraging for their food.
Patients at some hospitals across Nottinghamshire could be disrupted because of a staff walkout that's going on right now. Angus Pickering is reporting from outside Kingsmill Hospital. So Angus, what have you got for us?
So as you've just heard, this dispute is mostly about pay rates between the private sector that is represented behind me and the NHS contracted staff. Now, we spoke to the people on the picket line earlier today, and they mostly said that they just want equal treatment and they don't want to be, what they said, lied to. Hopefully time will tell to decide whether they get anywhere with it or not, but the atmosphere is good and they're hoping that change will be just around the corner.
Quite simply, they're on unequal terms when compared to their NHS colleagues, many of whom do the exact same job as them. And a comparator would be something such as sick pay. Our colleagues behind us, our members behind us, they don't receive sick pay at all. They receive a 2-week discretionary sick pay, company sick pay, and after that it's statutory sick pay. Compare that to NHS staff, they get 6 months full sick pay and 6 months half.
Now, Nottingham City Council has not fully accepted the gravity of how bad its finances are, according to an independent report. The Improvement and Assurance Board has been appointed by the government. It says the council has 500 more employees than similar authorities. This comes after the council declared itself effectively bankrupt in November last year.
Meanwhile, over at Nottinghamshire County Council, its leader Ben Bradley faced a vote of no confidence last night. Our political correspondent Lucy Ferriby-Stocks is outside the County Hall now. So Lucy, can you explain the events leading up to the no confidence vote in Ben Bradley?
So this vote of no confidence comes from Ben Bradley's campaign to be the next East Midlands Mayor, which he did lose to Claire Ward by just over 51,000 votes. Criticisms from the Independent Alliance Group here at County Hall say that he didn't pay enough time or give enough attention to his role as leader of Nottinghamshire County Council, and they argue that his failure in being elected the next East Midlands Mayor is a reflection in his leadership and his success as a Conservative candidate, hence the vote of no confidence.
And what happened at the vote yesterday?
So yesterday, Ben Bradley himself described the vote as a waste of time. In fact, when the debate was going on in the chamber here at County Hall, he went to go and make a cup of tea. The Independent Alliance Group were unsuccessful in their vote, losing 34 votes to 13. Conservative councillors themselves did leave the chamber as the debate was taking place before the vote, but they did return for the vote itself. The leader of the Labour group here at County Hall has said that it was really just a PR stunt. They don't believe that a change in Conservative leader will actually lead to any meaningful difference for the people of Nottinghamshire. So hence why they abstained from the vote themselves going forward.
Lovely, thank you Lucy. The boss of a local water company has defended £3.2 million bonus.
The boss of a local water company has defended her £3.2 million bonus despite the firm's responsibility for £60,000 sewage spills last year. Now, Liv Garfield said Severn Trent has made massive progress on river quality, and she said the company is in very strong financial situation after a £1 billion injection from its investors.
A man who murdered 2 schoolgirls will have his parole hearing in public. It's rare for this type of hearing to happen. Unamundu Arinze-Chukwu is in the newsroom and he has more. So Arinze, just to remind viewers, who is this man?
The man we are talking about is Colin Pitchfork from Leicestershire. He is the first person in the world to be convicted using DNA as evidence. He killed 2 girls after raping them in 1983 and 1986. The name of these girls are Linda Mann, who was just 15, and Don Ashworth, who was only 16. He was convicted and jailed and given a minimum of 30 years before parole. Now, the way parole works is whoever is convicted has to serve their parole year before going to the parole board to see if they are fit enough to be let back into the society or not.
And it's been 3 decades since these murders, so why is it back in the news now?
Yeah, it's actually been 3 decades, but Pitchford was released in 2021 and was also called back to prison that same year because of a breach in his parole condition. Now, the board are being asked to check if that decision was actually right. But to be honest, MP of the South Leicestershire, Alberto Costa, is campaigning against Pitchford being free.
Because the problem, Mr. Speaker, is that the reconsideration mechanism rules allow Mr. Pitchfork to keep asking for a reconsideration of a reconsidered decision, limitless times and cost-free to him.
So, what will happen next, Arinze?
The parole board has actually granted an application for a public parole hearing. This is actually rare, but it can happen, and this hearing will be happening in July, later in the year.
Thank you, Arinze.
Nottingham is trying to become the first carbon-neutral city in the country by 2028. One way they're doing this is by promoting more environmentally friendly modes of transport. Now, the introduction of e-transport system like bikes, which the City Council partnered with Limes, helps to reduce carbon dioxide in the environment. This is by almost 400,000 tons and has increased the use of e-bikes, leading to over 150,000 rides since it was launched.
Next, the free supermarket that's hiding in plain sight in our local countryside. Amy Lennox has been out near Mansfield to find out more about foraging.
Birdsong, a rambling river, and cycling enthusiasts. You can find all those down in Plesley Vale, just outside Mansfield. But it's also becoming a popular spot for foraging. People round here are coming for walks to increase their knowledge and find food for free.
Sort of dry them, grind them down into...
We're from around here, and I'm not tell you how old I am, but I've been coming here for 47 years. You know, I used to run around these woods. Never even thought, all these white things here, I could always smell the garlic, but I didn't know it was garlic. I could just smell something that smelled gorgeous. But now, wow, she's opened my eyes to, you know, a whole new world, really.
Wild garlic's just one of the plants foragers are finding here. Elderflower and the oddly named jelly ears are also on the menu. Collecting edible plants like these seems to be increasing in popularity. It's interesting that one foraging Facebook group has over 1,000 people now joining every week.
Calm, low terrain walk by the river. We're going to see some garlic mustard, we're going to see some wild garlic. So past 2, maybe 3 years I'm trying to get these walks together, and slowly they're getting bigger and bigger, more and more people attend. Nature is a big thing for me. It's like it's my therapist for free. My mental health always been a big issue for me, raising a child with special needs, and I struggle with my mental health a lot. I often find myself wandering in nature and returning back home more relaxed.
With supervision, the families who join these walks say it's a great activity to get children away from technology. Those who come regularly know what they like.
Puffballs, because they're very versatile with food. They're very bland at first, but they absorb flavour a lot. And jelly ears, I love jelly ears.
As the weather gets warmer, perhaps more people will pick up a basket and give foraging a go. Amy Lennox, CBJ News.
Well, we've got Amy here in the studio to talk to us a bit more about foraging, and so it really is a fascinating subject. I bet loads of people, like myself, don't actually know that much about it. And it sounds lovely, but Amy, is it actually safe?
Yeah, well, it's a good question, Ben, and obviously people want to be confident if they're going out foraging for the first time. And the Food Standards Agency have a guidance for safe foraging, so they put out some important rules which people should follow. Some of them are obviously always be certain of the identity of the plants you're foraging, so there are some that can be poisonous, such as hemlock, so you just have to be really sure when you go out. Make sure you wash your harvest well, regardless of where it's collected, and obviously avoid plants which are maybe near the roadside or at industrial sites, because they might have pesticides on and you don't want to be eating those. Also, if it's your first time going out to forage food, just try a little piece in case you've got an adverse reaction, and keep a bit of that plant aside so that if something happened and you were unwell, the plant that you ate could always be identified. So that's some of the most important rules.
Lovely. I mean, I know we spoke earlier about nettle soup, but that's lovely. And so where can people go to find out more about foraging to make sure that they know what they're picking is the right things?
Yeah, so I've done an article on the CBJ News website, so people can go there. I've put some pictures on of kind of the most typical plants. So most people will know, blackberries, dandelions, nettles, as you said, but there's also some other ones on there, like the jelly ears we heard mentioned in the package. And I've also put a link to the Woodland Trust, so they've got an amazing guide. It's a seasonal month-by-month guide, and it shows different plants that you could look at, say in May, June, July, everything that's coming out, blooming, growing at that time of year, which ones are edible and which ones are safe to eat. So I'd really recommend people go and look at that just to find out more if they're interested in getting into foraging.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Amy.
Thank you, Amy. Now, a Lord of the Rings fan has created a map of Nottinghamshire in the style of the fantasy novel. Chris Burst took suggestions from locals on what could be included. The map includes well-known landmarks, including Southall Workhouse and Wallington Hall. Chris asked people on social media to share lesser-known parts of the county and any specific details that could be included. He received over 2,000 responses.
I really enjoyed some of the local mythology, actually. Not being from the area, obviously I'm sort of only familiar with Nottingham Castle and Robin Hood legends. But when you look deeper, there's actually a lot more there. For example, there's the wild man of Sherwood Forest, which seems to be like a Yeti mythical type creature. So that was really cool to get involved.
A Sikh art exhibition has opened in Leicestershire as part of a series of community awareness events. The artwork will allow the public to engage with colourful displays of Sikh heritage. Dan Metcalf has more.
For art enthusiasts in the East Midlands, the new contemporary Sikh exhibition in Leicester can provide a glimpse into the colour and creativity of Sikh culture. Budding Sikh artists have travelled from around the world to display their art here today. For some, the new exhibition grants an opportunity to control the portrayal of their religion through visual arts.
I realize that there's not a lot of representation in the industry for anyone of color, really. And we're getting a little better as the years progress, but there's not many Sikh stories out there. So my goal is just to tell more Sikh stories and as many POC colors and POC stories as I can. And I think this whole exhibit has done such a great job with just making things a little more accessible.
As part of a series of community events, Sikhs are celebrating their heritage through the paintings and talks held today, as well as the Sikh Arts and Film Festival, which begins tomorrow, the 18th of May. With so many events taking place and public engagement being high, it appears that many people in Leicester are getting involved with their wider community.
People come here from all around the world. Whilst we've got local artists, national artists and international artists, you tend to find that the supporters come across from all different areas as well. So it's not necessarily just from Sikhs themselves, it's from non-Sikh, and it's been great.
A day which has been filled with colour, positivity and a willingness to learn has shown that for Sikhs living in the city of Leicester, their creative freedom and ability to express themselves is being received with keen interest. Dan Metcalf, CBJ News.
And now for sport with Dom Allen, who's in the CBJ Sports Zone with some very big golf news.
Thank you. World #1 Scottie Scheffler has been detained by police this morning, but has since been released and back playing at the US PGA Tour. The golfer apparently had a misunderstanding about traffic flow after a car accident. Now in Riyadh, Tyson Fury refused to even look at Alexander Usyk after their weigh-in before their bout on Saturday to become the first undisputed heavyweight champion in the 4-belt era. Next season we could see the return of the Revie Clough derby as Leeds United won their playoff semi-final 4-0 against Norwich City. Leeds will face either West Bromwich Albion or Southampton at Wembley on the 26th of May for a chance to return to the Premier League and hopefully play Nottingham Forest. And 2 years to the day he became a Nottingham Forest playoff hero. Brice Samba has been named in the France squad for the Euros alongside Kylian Mbappe and Arsenal's William Saliba. Lastly, in cricket, Nottinghamshire are in trouble as they find themselves 118 for 6 in the afternoon. That's all from me.
Thank you for that, Dom. And now for the weather, in the region, we go over to Erin Verlack, who's by the River Trent.
Hello, I am here at the River Trent with your weather. We've had a lovely sunny afternoon, which we're expecting to continue into the evening with lows of around 11 degrees. But there will be some rain on the way, which will continue throughout tomorrow for quite a rainy but warm Saturday. Highs of 20 degrees, lows of around 11 degrees again. But that should clear up by the evening and in time for what is forecasted to be a lovely Sunday. Highs of 20 degrees, high UV rays, so make sure you have your sun cream on, and lows of around 9 degrees going into the evening. We're expecting that the River Trent around me, where I'm standing right now, will probably be full of people enjoying a lovely sunny afternoon. This will change sadly again on Monday. Light rain with some light wind and breeze throughout the days, highs of 18 and lows of 7. So make sure you enjoy that Sunday with our brief respite from all the rain.
It certainly looks lovely out there. Thank you very much, Erin. And that's all your news for today. You can keep up to date with us across social media, everywhere at CBJ News.
Or you can visit our website, cbjnewsreports.co.uk. Bye for now.